Somehow this emo-looking faction, Who Hurt You, became one of the greatest WWE factions of all time. Before Damian became a world champion, he was losing to Bad Bunny and occasionally had hot tub parties with girls. And Triple H. Before Rhea Ripley became the biggest star in the women's division, she found herself in a tag team with a Temu Superwoman. Dominik Mysterio was a Rizless papa's boy. Loved his dad. And boy loved his dad. No Riz though. Until he traded his dad for some cheeks. Only to then trade it for more cheeks. I wasn't a big fan of Dominik before. Dominik Mysterio, I owe you an apology. I wasn't really familiar with your game. Every single member of the Judgment Day elevated their careers while being in the faction. Obviously, mostly the leader of the faction, R-Truth. And with everything going on right now, many will remember this as one of the most successful WWE groups of all time. Well, that wasn't always the case. For that to happen, it took big changes, twists, turns, Dominik's puberty, and some TV-14 moments. So in today's video, I want to talk about the Judgment Day's journey in the WWE. Y'all know I'm trying to reach 500,000 subscribers, so if you enjoyed this kind of content, make sure to join. Let's go back to Edge's return to the WWE. Edge felt like he needs to elevate more talent, and after turning heel on AJ Styles, he completely changed his character. Different song, same artist though, which I loved.
If you believe.
At WrestleMania, Edge defeated AJ Styles with the help of Damian Priest. Damian Priest at that point was a pretty successful wrestler in the WWE. I mean, he was obviously a former United States champion, but just like with many WWE talent, it's really hard to find your footing in professional wrestling. He was just kinda there. So Edge and Damian Priest were in a rivalry against AJ Styles and Finn Balor. You know, before Finn Balor got used to saying, Damian! The rivalry wasn't bad, but people looked at Edge and said, what is he yapping about? Boy can't stop yapping. And it's pretty understandable. We couldn't understand what this alliance is all about. Do they have superpowers? Which was actually the original idea.
I want a lot of lighting and a rain of dildo.
The vision was very unclear, and it was really hard to boo Edge. He just came back to the WWE. We can't boo this man. We see him as a legend, and this is so different. At WrestleMania Backlash, Rhea Ripley joined the Judgment Day by helping Edge to defeat AJ Styles. She's a bit of a crazy girl too, I see. Okay, now I'm interested. You see, before joining the Judgment Day, Rhea was successful. She was a former WWE Women's Champion, and she looked like she could be the face of the company, of the women's division. The problem was, something was missing. She looked like the coolest created character in WWE 2K, but something wasn't there. It makes so much sense now, but it's crazy how Liv Morgan got involved in this too. Even before any plans, she was teaming up with AJ Styles and Finn Balor. The Judgment Day were looking for new members though, and the rival Finn Balor finally saw the light, only for Edge to get kicked out of the Judgment Day, which seemed really weird back then, kinda out of nowhere. It didn't even look like they had motive, but there's actually a real reason why he got kicked out. According to Edge, due to many injuries in the WWE when it comes to babyfaces, WWE needed Edge as a good guy because the majority of the roster were basically good heels with the lack of the good guys. You know, I could say that it's unfortunate because Edge never got to finish his vision, but literally with everything that happened, you couldn't book it any better. So then we got a very long rivalry between Edge and the Mysterios versus the Judgment Day. Looking back, it was amazing, and sometimes we overlooked all the details. I mean, the signs were always there. Eventually, we noticed Rey Mysterio favoring Edge being his partner instead of Dominik Mysterio. Obviously because Edge has more experience.
Dominik, I love you. You know that. Don't you dare say you don't know that, Dom. I love you. But honestly, and Angie knows this too. Angie knows this. You're kind of a puss.
The night of Clash at the Castle 2022 might be the most important night of the Judgment Day. Dominik Mysterio felt underappreciated by his father, and after their victory, turned on Edge. He's not gonna attack his puppy, right? No, he gifted him a PSP. That ain't gonna happen. Nope, he did it. He actually turned on his dad. I can't even explain. You guys probably remember how special that was. How out of nowhere. Like, we looked at this, family and said, this is never gonna happen. It felt like Rey Mysterio is never gonna go for this, and we thought Rey is gonna retire in like a year, right? Like, he's old and he moves like crazy, man. But the bastards did it. They actually did it. And the boos, man. Oh, the boos. Dominik Mysterio joined the Judgment Day. And you might be wondering why. This Just this, really. Ever since that moment, the Judgment Day became the biggest part of Monday Night Raw. Rhea Ripley became the most popular women's wrestler. Finn and Damian found their place in the WWE again. And Dominik Mysterio became the biggest heel in the company. To this day, my man can't talk on the microphone. The rivalry between Dominik Mysterio and Rey was huge. Not only because we wanted Rey to eventually hit Dom and face him at WrestleMania, but also Rhea's and Dominik's on-screen relationship absolutely blew up on the internet, gathering crazy social media numbers. Looking back, almost unseen in the WWE. Whether it was invading Rey Mysterio's house or just a bunch of thirst traps, you know, like they're not actually in a relationship, they're just only on screen. Why am I explaining this to wrestling fans? I gotta tell you, I think Dominik Mysterio played the most important part in the Judgment Day. You see, because he brought legitimate hate to the faction, and I believe he elevated Rhea Ripley even more. She became mommy. We started looking at Rhea Ripley being like, she could beat majority of the guys too. I'm pretty sure. Also, Dominik Mysterio spending like a day in prison or a couple of hours. It was so interesting because as viewers we see this as kind of a joke, but the Judgment Day took it seriously. I can't explain this weird dynamic, just how well everything worked. We finally got to see Rey beat Dom's ass at Mania, literally.
You're gonna talk shit to Angie? You're gonna talk shit to Aaliyah?
Rhea Ripley became a champion again. Dominik Mysterio won his first championship. Judgment Day became tag team champions. But there was one thing missing. Money in the Bank. Damian Priest won the Money in the Bank briefcase. And he held that for a very long time. Very, very, very long time. Very, 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 very long time. I mean, the briefcase started rotting, it turned purple, to the point where with every change in the WWE, we felt like, okay, is this even happening? With the CM Punk's return, the rise of Drew McIntyre, is he gonna win the World Heavyweight Championship? Well, WrestleMania 40 was a big night for the Judgment Day, 2 nights actually. Rhea retained the Women's World Championship by beating the previous face of the women's division, and Damian Priest finally won the big one. So, they achieved everything they could. From Vince McMahon's weird-ass vision of them shooting lightning strikes and raining to actually nailing it, exceeding every expectation possible. Another important detail about the Judgment Day is that we did get new members. JD McDonough joined the faction, who also was lost on the main roster. He wasn't doing anything. Also Carlito, who in my opinion is one of the most entertaining things about Raw right now. It's so out of nowhere. Carlito, really? Like, it made no sense, but he's hilarious in every single segment. He's just kind of being a dude, you know? Just a dude. He looks at everything Liv and Dom did and was like, yo, that's kind of crazy. Will Carlito's character change even more? Instead of spitting apples, just spitting tuna? So the Judgment Day did it all. What's next? What's next for the faction? A breakup. A change. Everything could be different right now, but Liv Morgan accidentally obviously injured Rhea Ripley, eventually winning the World Championship that Rhea Ripley held, kind of with the help of Dominik Mysterio. Every week Liv Morgan said she's gonna take everything from Rhea Ripley and treated Dominik Mysterio like royalty. Dominik wasn't feeling it, sure he wasn't, but Liv never gave up. They created so many TV-14 moments, man. Like, crazy. I would have never imagined they could get away with that stuff on TV programming just a few years ago. Eventually, Rhea Ripley made her return. The party is over, Dom. Dominik had to make that decision. And he did by saying, I hate you. Liv's heart was broken. But it seems like it was all a part of a plan. The tears were fake. The love was real. The Riz was real. At SummerSlam, we finally got Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. It happened pretty recently. As you guys remember, Dominik Mysterio actually helped Liv Morgan to retain the World Championship and even kissed her by breaking Rhea's heart. The same night, Finn Balor turned on Damian Priest and caused him the World Heavyweight Championship. That was the end of the OG Judgment Day. Let that sink in. If Rhea Ripley never got injured, we wouldn't be watching this right now. Maybe Liv Morgan wouldn't be a part of the Judgment Day. So Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest are out of the Judgment Day. As a matter of fact, they're fighting the new Judgment Day right now, who look even more like villains. People they turned heel by already being heels. Like, I don't know what kind of reaction Dominik is gonna get right now. Remember how a couple of minutes ago I said it elevated everyone's career? Still doing it. Still doing it, JD McDonough. Carlito is interesting again. And most importantly, Liv Morgan. She always had a huge following, but she was always kind of there. Like, she changed so many gimmicks in a way. Like, she was extreme at one point for whatever reason. WWE could never find something that works for Liv Morgan. The talent is there. It's just that sometimes it really takes some time and a certain storyline, a certain moment to change our perspective on a WWE superstar. Now we look at Liv completely differently. She's set as one of the biggest women's wrestlers in the WWE right now. It's unfortunate, but it's crazy how whenever someone gets injured, whenever something terrible happens in the WWE, somehow, someway, WWE have to pivot, and the quality of whatever happens next completely beats the original plans. It's fair to say the Judgment Day beat every expectation possible, and the story isn't over yet. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to click that subscribe button and like button. I would appreciate that. Thank you very much. If you want to see more content like this, it takes a lot of time to edit these, but you know, I like being proud of my content, so thank you for watching The Great One. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.